Over the last, let's say, couple of months, my number of YouTube videos for photography has massively declined. In fact, my last one was a review of the Nikon D500. I've actually still got a whole bunch of videos in my software, in my editing software, waiting for me to do. I just can't be bothered doing them just now, and it's a bit of a weird one. And somebody was saying, "Hey Dom, you haven't done a video of, are you not bothering doing photography videos anymore?" And I was like, "No, I kind of am, but the opposite thing is happening is that I'm busy enjoying photography again." That might sound a bit bizarre considering I'm a full-time photographer and I've been doing YouTube videos for years and years and years. But it's I've had kind of my timeline of photography is like, oh, when I'm not doing much actual photography apart from work, my YouTube videos content goes up and up and up, because I have more time to spend on thinking about creating, editing, and all that kind of stuff. But recently, all I can say is that with the likes of this camera which I bought. This was a fairly expensive camera. It's about £700. You got some rebates. Oh, that reminds me, I need to put in my rebate. And I thought it was about £700. I thought, oh, it's a bit expensive. I'm really going to want it and all that kind of stuff. It's got full flippy out screen, I like that. It's got a cool kind of leather kind of look to it. It's the Panasonic GX8. It's quite heavy. It's not heavy. It's a good sturdy feel, but it's you may have seen I've done a few videos where I've talked about manual lenses. And sometimes when you get a good manual lens, oh, just feeling it turn around. So good. With this camera, it feels so good to the point where even when I've got the same company's camera and lighter cameras, it feels, the Panasonic G7, still 4K, amazing photos, amazing video, pretty much nothing image quality wise different from this. This one's just got a slightly more DSLR body compared to this one. Eyepiece in the right place, eyepiece in the wrong place. Especially, I consider that to be the wrong place, but not because it's a bad place, just because then I'm left-eyed, so therefore my nose grease always goes on the screen. Always goes on the screen, and that's annoying. But it's just I've learned to really enjoy taking photos again. I'm not taking photos for the sake of making a YouTube video. I'm not taking photos. Yeah, I'm not taking photos for the sake of making a YouTube video. I'm not going out with a big, clumpy DSLR and being the photographer guy there. Now, I am just a guy with a camera. Oh my god, that sounds so wrong. I'm enjoying just being a guy with a camera. In photography terms, there's quite a few derogatory terms of GWAC. Guy with camera is a derogatory term for photographers. But outside of my photography job, I'm really enjoying just being a GWAC. In terms of nobody notices me. No, like even to the point where I'm not carrying around the Panasonic GH4 because it's a little bit heavier. It's a bit more black. It's a bit more camera-wise. It's so pathetic, but it's like the aesthetics of this camera, the nice clickiness of the buttons, has just really made me want to go out and take nice photos. And I'm using it, and like I've got this lens which is noisy and crap. Like I wonder if this is where the microphone is. I have no battery in it. That's going to not make any sense. But this is a noisy lens. It goes meh 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 as it's trying to focus. But it's size of it, look, small, dinky. It's an f1.7. It's a 20mm f1.7, giving me a 40mm field of view in terms of my full frames. And it's noisy, but it's fast, and I'm just really enjoying it. The other ones that I've got again with Panasonic, I just love the lightness of this. This is the G7 with the 12 to 35mm lens, and that's its what do you call it, store away position, and then that's it at its 12mm, and that's it at its 32. That's it, and then store away. I love that. I love that. It's just that in comparison, if I bring out even the smallest DSLR that I've got, this is the Canon 550D with 24 to 70mm lens, which is almost the same field of view as this. Okay, it's an f2.8, but if you look at the size that we're dealing with, this is a Canon 550D. This is the smallest digital SLR with a APS-C size sensor. Look at the size. Look at the size. Instead of walking around with this lump, so much easier to go out with this very light little piece of gear. And same again when I go with this camera. Look at the size difference. Look at the size difference. So yeah, it's a weird thing. I don't know if I'm describing it correctly, but just try and close on. Oh, camera drawer filled with cameras and lenses, which I don't use. It's just a weird thing which when I got into photography, I loved photography. I loved being able to capture images which other people couldn't, you know, like with macro photos, with ultra wide angle photos, with funky angles, with just going to places and getting shots which people wouldn't normally see. I did have a lot of joy taking pictures of spiders in Japan, and like long exposures, and the sporting stuff and all that. And I enjoy photography, and it got to the point where I started doing it for people's houses, and I love my job. I love doing photography, but when you're doing photography as your work from 9 till whenever I finish, 5, 6, sometimes I'm still editing at home, 7, at the weekend, you just want to go, no more photos, just like I can't be bothered with a neck strap, walking around the Botanic Gardens, being that guy with a camera. It sounds so wrong, it sounds so wrong, but it's just like I see tourists, like it's almost a bit too touristy. Guy with a camera, or you see the guy with like a massive lens, and you're like, that lens is totally worthy if you're on safari in Africa. You're in the Botanic Gardens looking at bumblebees and the odd squirrel. That's it. And it's just nice just being a guy with a little, what looks like a point and shoot, but was actually a phenomenal camera. It's a 20 megapixel, it's an f1.7 lens here. It can do like 8 frames a second. It can do 30 frames a second if you do it 4K mode. It has post-focusing, so you hold it and you take a photo and it will take a stream of photos and you can choose where so it's almost like Lightroom style photography. It's got HDR in camera. It does just so many great things about it, but they're all hidden in what looks like just a simple little point and shoot which anyone could buy. And I've really developed an enjoyment of just, it's almost like undercover photographer. So and also because of this bit, which is something which I really appreciate, the full, they call free angle articulating screen, I can happily do like low down shots where I just like have it hanging down there and take like, see the ones from Nikon stuff where it's, well, one with Nikon stuff you can't fold it safely like that. It's always that way, or just flips up and down. You can't really do it sideways. I love just hanging this down as my young child walks beside me. I will have this just hanging down. I'll just go photo, done. And I love that. And I am capturing huge amounts of. I've taken so many more photos in my spare in my life, in my day-to-day. I'm to the point where I'm not using my iPod anymore, pretty much. Yeah, that was the thing. I wouldn't at the weekend, I would ditch my digital SLR and I would just kind of take photos on my iPod. I've now ditched my iPod back for this, and it's something about a quality of design, like more than Panasonic G7. So the G7, great camera, light, cheap. This one was a bit expensive, but feels good, and it's something about the tactile tactileness and the aesthetics of it that makes me want, like, I was at the other day, it's like, which camera do I take? Do I take the slightly lighter camera with the lighter lens, or do I take my nice metal looking one? What do I do? And I was like, debate. No, at no point in my head was I thinking, should I take Canon 550D, my Fuji S5 Pro, my Canon 550, my Canon 5D Mark II. What else have I got in there? Some other stuff. None of that came into my head. It was like, which one of these little guys should I use? So it's, I may expand on this in another video, or maybe not expand, but make this more concise. This is more me just putting discussion out there. Have any of you other photographers that are out there found that the amazing, oh my god, super duper of digital SLRs, great for work, great for workhorses that you're going to be using every day, day in, day out, in studios, out in the field, doing work stuff, but as a free time photographer, do you just like gotta go, I just want to not be seen as the photographer, if that makes sense? I don't know if that sounds, is that heresy in the photography world? I'm not going to carry on with this video any longer, but just let me know what you think. Have you had the same experiences? And if so, what camera did you go for? Because I know the Olympus EM style are also fantastic. I had to play with the EM10 Mark II. And I was like, it's even smaller. And in some of my videos, I've talked about how I don't like fiddliness. But I think I don't like fiddliness with a workhorse. So in other words, with a digital SLR, if there's fiddliness with that irks me. But fiddliness with one of these, I'm not bothered by it. It doesn't put me off. And I am enjoying learning to get fluent with this camera. Like, oh, how do I change the exposure meter reading? How do I change it so it's fast frames a second? How do I do this and that? And I'm enjoying learning with this. Yeah, just let me know if you've had similar experiences or what you think about what I've just said. Okay, speak to you later, guys. Cheers, bye bye.